ahead and start off with the introductions and then lay out what we're gonna go ahead and do tonight. So I am Cam, the creator of dayLITE, and I will be your alder for tonight. Pronouns are he, they. I am excited to teach you all what this is about.
Let's go.
We going down like the Discord call line and introducing ourselves, or
I think you just
volunteer?
volunteered.
Yeah, I was like, am I okay? I'll volunteer. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I just wasn't sure if this was like in class where you have to call on the next person to introduce themselves.
Popcorn.
Yeah. No, so I'm Anna. She, they. I've played a lot of TTRPGs. I've never actually played dayLITE, although I have done like text-based like role storytelling in the setting and using the lineages, but I've never actually rolled dice for dayLITE. But I've played D&D, Pathfinder, Blades in the Dark, Apocalypse World, Monster of the Week, you name it, I've tried it. Thirsty Sword Lesbians. And I'm just really excited to actually play dayLITE like it's meant to be. So just writing about it.
Hey. Okay, since Anna has gone first, I think I shall go second. Hello, folks. I am Adi MK. Please call me Adi. I am from India. I have been playing for about 10 years, so not too much. But I've played a few systems here and there, Blades in the Dark, D&D, Vampire the Masquerade, etc., etc. But yes, I have no experience with this system whatsoever. But new system, new peeps. Let's go. Also, sorry, I am an RP whore, so please prepare for like that.
I think we all are. I think we are in good company.
Let's go.
Perfect. Well, I'll go right after Ali. Hello. My name is Armani, pronouns he, they. I have my experience with tabletop and writing for dayLITE for a couple of, I want to say, expansions for the new Rallia setting, as well as a couple of zines. What else? I also do design my own tabletop games and do a lot of fun mechanics-based things. I am most of my exposure to tabletop has been D&D, Pathfinder, Blaze in the Dark, my 7 saves in Baldur's Gate 3, and generally that's just been my life. But yeah, really, really excited to play with you all. I've played dayLITE with actually other people. Once I am a solo tabletop person usually, but it's always good to play with friends.
Not to keep interrupting people. If you like Baldur's Gate 3, you will love Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2, made by the same studios. Larion Peak. If you like Baldur's Gate 3, do not play Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. They are 20 to 25 years old. They have not aged. Well.
It's not on my list. I will just keep playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'll throw enough mods and make it a thing. But yeah, that's essentially me. I'm really excited to get nerdy, get silly.
I think I'm next because my name on Discord is Demermtrain, but you all can just call me Merm. I use she, they pronouns. I don't have a whole lot of like big accolades and writing things like a lot of you do because it's super cool. I'm just kind of over here like I'm get to meet new people. Let's go. That's kind of my vibe right now. But I have been streaming TTRPGs only for like I started the same month that I started my job, so 9 months. I work in a bookstore, so I'm surrounded by books all the time. I'm a writer. I love writing poetry. I've written quite a few fantasy and contemporary novels that
Talking about not having accolades.
I was about to say, you are very cool off the bat. Go school at the bookstore and then added the novel. Yeah.
It's my comfort space.
Okay, I put myself down a lot. Wow, hello everyone.
We're just gonna lift you up more then.
Um, Yeah. My experiences are a plethora of different ones. I'm currently playtesting for something called Rangers of the Lost World. I'm doing this. Um, and I love playing D&D. Since starting streaming, I am no longer a combat girly, not girly. I love role playing now. So Adi, we'll be RP whores together because I love making people
Let's
cry. So hopefully I
go.
don't do this with you all, but it could happen. And I'm
I
warning you
mean,
now.
let's go. I mean, as a DM, I am proficient in emotional damage, so I do understand that.
The worst
I'm
damage
just
type.
I'm a very emotional person and a sympathetic crier. So I've
I
cried in
yep.
D&D many a time, and the moment someone else goes, I go.
Nice.
Mm.
I'll make sure to
If
just go.
if you haven't cried in D&D, what the fuck? Like,
What can I say?
I blame my antidepressants. So I guess I'm
They're
next.
really anti-ing that depressant.
Yes.
mhm.
I'm Dennis. Go by Higipedia on all the socials. Pronouns are he, him, and I've been playing role-playing games maybe since before a lot of you were born, which is kind of terrifying to me. 1984, I started playing when my
Oh,
parents got me my Red Box basic set for my 9th birthday. So, and I have not looked back. It's something I've, throughout a lot of different changes in my life, role playing games have always been there, much like a lot of other kids growing up somewhat neurodiverse. It's been a nice little uh, kind of bastion of fun, and I've actually started moving into trying to work it into some of my professional life. I taught a freshman seminar about kind of using role playing games in like interdisciplinary academic environments. I've done different presentations on different aspects of it, and I'm actually considering doing a master's thesis on representation in Vampire the Masquerade. So, yeah, I've played all kinds of games. Of course, started with D&D, went through the big ones really that have stuck with me through the years. Cyberpunk, I've been a fan of since the original Black Box, all the way through the current kind of iteration. Warhammer Fantasy, I like a lot. Um, Call of Cthulhu, Delta Green, a lot of them. I'll give any game a try. Um, and I have zero experience. I never even heard of dayLITE until the call went out for this. So I am coming into this completely blank and excited to do something a little different.
And I believe that's me last but not least, if I'm not mistaken. Hello, I'm Kyle. I have done some writing work that's yet to come out with dayLITE, but my mainstay is I am a full-time professional GM for hire / playtester. I've been doing that for about 4 years now. I do the convention markets. I do the horror TTRPG sphere as well as start playing. Within dayLITE itself, however, I have had the wonderful chance to play with Cam before at the Modern campaign, and at some point soon, once the scheduling aligns, it's the true villain of TTRPGs. I will be running a dayLITE version of a Terra. I can't talk about it much more than that, though. But yeah, that is me. Oh, sorry, my pronouns are he, him. But anything is honestly fine, but it's the simplest one is he, him is fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, because there are some of you here who have never heard of dayLITE, and there are a couple friends here who do know it, but maybe we don't know all the details, I'll do a quick rundown of sort of the quick history of the system and what we're going to be doing tonight. So, dayLITE started out dayLITE Publications is my company. We started in 2019, publishing DM's Guild settings, and then, as we all know, a little thing called the Panini came along in 2020. So I got to finish my senior year of college at home online. And that is where dayLITE kind of kicked off. We did our Supers and Sorcery 5e setting, was our first Kickstarter, and then did more 5e stuff. And then finally, those of us who are tapped into the world of TTRPG stuff, the OGL debacle happened in 2022 where Wizards dropped that they may or may not have decided to get rid of the OGL, which for those folks who are not in tune, that's the open game license, which allows third-party creation. And so I finally said, fuck it. I'm going to take this idea that I had and do my own thing. And that's how dayLITE came to be. dayLITE, the system, is really focused on a couple of things, mainly really honing in on keeping the narrative and keeping the story the center of the game. There's no combat rules, there's no movement action economy or anything like that. Didn't want to deal with it, didn't want to have to happen, but it is also meant to be designed as a game that you can play easily with kids, that you can play easily with friends who are neurodivergent, who don't have that ability to sit and just hone in and chunk through rules and make giant character sheets. So yeah, and then obviously now that I'm a dad, it's very much been more so going forward, to be something that I want to do with my son and with eventually my other kids as well. So for dayLITE, we're the idea behind character creation, which we're going to do tonight, is that it's short and simple. You all got access to the core rules, the fantasy lineages, and our Wanderer sheet. Ideally, the Wanderer sheet's supposed to be about the size of a note card. If you print it off, it's really something you can just pull out of your pocket and run with. We're going to go through step by step, and just to show you how quickly and how easily it is to throw something together for the game as a whole. I'm not going to tell you guys the setting that we're going to be playing in. And I'm not going to tell you much info about what our little one-shot is going to include, because I want you guys to go in kind of unaware. Misdirection. Cue the meme of the penguins from Madagascar. You didn't see anything. So, we'll start first, before we get into lineages and careers, with our stats. So if you all look at the Wanderer sheet, you'll see there's 5 stats. This is very different from other RPGs you guys might have played where there's like a fucking bazillion. So your core 3 stats are Brawn, Empath, and Lore. So those are those ones that are right sort of in the middle of the sheet that kind of arc across. So I'll just give folks a second to find them. The numbers that those are all going to start at is the number 4. So you can go ahead and pencil in 4 in Brawn, Empath, and Lore. We're not going to worry about the other 2 just
I was
yet.
supposed to print this out. I was unprepared.
It's all good. If you can type into it, whatever works for you. You can jot it down on a piece of paper and do it later. No worries. I just figured some folks might appreciate seeing the having the formatted one. I know some folks just write stuff down on note paper, whatever folks prefer. So just all you have to worry about is Brawn, Empath, and Lore, starting at 4. All 3 of those start at a base of 4. I'll give folks a second to jot that down.
Brawn, Lore, and because I'm guessing these numbers will change, right? So I think
Yes.
I'll wait for the final version and then put all of that on the sheet.
Yeah. So they will change. Not a huge amount, but they will change. There's going to be two stages where they'll change, and we're not going to have huge numbers. The highest you're going to have at start is a 10 usually, and that is rare. So once everyone's got that, you now get your first stat bonus. So that first stat bonus is you get to add a +3, a +2, and a +1 to whichever of your stats you want. Now, you cannot just add them all into one stat. They each go into one accordingly. So you could say I add +3 to my Brawn, +2 to my Lore, +1 to my Empath, or you could say +2 to my brawn, +3 to my lore, +1 to my. However you want to play it. Standard goes higher number, better at that thing.
I do have a question though.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there a breakdown of what these attributes lead to? Like,
Sure.
you know,
So, brawn is anything that would be like combat based or survival based. Um, empath is anything that's like social, emotional, pretty much. And then lore is anything that has to do with like intelligence, innate wisdom, that kind of thing. But they're also very fluid. You know, if let's say you guys were doing roles and you said you wanted to try and intimidate someone, and instead of just trying to be like, I want to scare them, and adding like instead you might say, I actually want to use like my brawn modifier because I am very big and scary, to use that physicality rather than like talking to scare someone. So it's very fluid and open to interpretation. Does that help?
yeah, fair. So gaslighting is cool. Cool. I like it.
It's on the sheet. It's not checked off. No one checked it.
That's the secret stat. The secret stat. Yeah. So once folks go ahead and add those in, I'd love to hear what folks' stats are at right now as a base, just
Um,
after that first set of addition.
just to talk out loud my thoughts a little bit. So brawn being your physicality, lore being essentially like your intelligence, your memory, any kind of mental faculties, and empath
Mhm.
being your like social connectability, how well you can interact with the people around you, right?
Mhm.
Um, and we're getting a +3, a +2, and a +1. So our baseline worst ability is going to be at a 5, and our best ability at this moment in time will be at a 7.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking good.
I've gone for a +3 in lore, +2 in empath, and +1 in brawn.
Same. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do +3 empath, +2 brawn, +1 lore.
I'm doing that.
I'm doing +3 lore, +2 brawn, +1 empath because I know the character I have in mind. If you want
So do we have anyone who put brawn first?
Mm,
No, I'm not planning to be beefy, and
I might.
that's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're allowed to change this later, right?
Yeah, like if you guys decide down the road that you want to switch things up before we play, that's totally fine. You know, that's and we can walk through how you want to shift stats around and stuff.
Okay, because I might do brawn. Sometimes it's not fun being like the martial focused person if everyone is like good at it, but if no one is good at it, then it's nice to be like the person everyone looks to stand in front of them.
I'm thinking about doing more of a martial character if that kind of like helps you stay with whatever you're doing. I just wanted to.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, I know exactly what I
I've
want to do because
absolutely no idea.
I have
props
no clue. Yeah.
to Cam because as a neurodivergent person, like a lot of books are really overstimulating and so fucking confusing. And then I like read through all this and I was like, okay, and I basically wrote out like the entire character sheet, but now that you're like guiding through, I'm doing everything correctly. But like I have basically everything that I know that I want. And I'm gonna be big beefy. So
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that
Salute
it was.
you.
I'm glad to hear from someone that it is actually easier to follow along because
it's
I
so
was
easy. I'm like, I don't need anybody for this. Now that I know that I did a bunch of stuff wrong, I definitely need you now. But I was confident coming in, and that's all that matters.
okay. Good.
The other thing
I'm
I'd
glad.
say is, oh, sorry, Cam, please finish your
No,
point
go
first.
go ahead, Kyle. What's up?
I was going to say, like, again, something like it's played in like Ranit. You don't necessarily have that like differential unless you want it, in the sense of with these stats, because dayLITE is designed as a degree of success system.
Mm.
You don't have to be brawn to be a fighter. You can fight with intelligence. You can equally solve a problem with brawn that is usually thought of like, hey, I'm going to be smart. Like this system is designed on that scale of success, rather than like you're being typecast into these things that you have to then pivot
Oh,
into hard.
sure. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that like the only way to be successful in a fight is to have brawn. I meant more as the sense of like people in most fantasy worlds, and this is one of the things that like um comes up in D&D a lot when people are like, oh yeah, racial modifiers, like,
Mm,
it doesn't make sense.
mm,
Sometimes you have an orc that isn't +2 to strength, -2 intelligence, right? Sometimes you have an intelligent orc, and it's like, yes, that's true. On the other side, when you have a talent, that world, that type of world, and we see it in our own history in medieval ages and stuff like that. But like when you have a talent, you are encouraged to use it. So if you are naturally brawny, you are going to be encouraged to use that in battle or to find like ways to solve things using your muscles because we want to do the things that we are naturally good at. And so you can have someone who is brawny but is also intelligent and prefers to focus on their intelligence, but also like if someone is brawny, they will likely end up in some sort of combat related field or hard manual labor because people do the things that they are good at. So that's
I will
more
let
what I
you
was saying
know
about.
right now, I'm gonna be swinging regardless with my twig arms, no matter what.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
don't think the stats limit us.
I do
Mm,
want to keep us rolling though because I don't want to
yeah,
take
yeah,
super long on this, and also because I'll be frank, I'm really tired, so
fair.
I'm holding on to the little bit of energy I got left by eating many baked goods at my job. So we've got our stats, and again, like we were talking about, daylight is designed that it is a degree of success. So regardless of what kind of character you create, leaning into X, Y, or Z, there is potential for everyone to do well and everyone to do potentially poorly. So the next step is lineages. Now, in the base fantasy rules for daylight, because there's not only daylight fantasy, there is daylight sci-fi, daylight noir, daylight pixel, and I'm working on daylight apocalypse right now. So there's different genre systems. In base fantasy, there are 36 lineage options. Those lineages were purposely left very vague and very broad because I knew down the road we were going to be adding more lineage options. Which, as you all can tell, not much self-control was enlisted. So every base lineage in fantasy out of those 36 ones has at least 6 base options. So 36 times 6. There are lots of options.
361.
Lots of options for everyone to pick from. So one of the reasons why I wanted to send that ahead is so that way you guys weren't like, oh, I gotta look through all of them and pick one now. Does anyone specifically have a lineage they decided to choose for tonight, or is there anyone who's taking right now to kind of do one more look through before?
I already chose.
I know
Same.
what I want.
We're ready.
Already.
All right. Well,
Uh,
here who wants to share first with which lineage they are going?
I can. Um, Emptimal, and it was like the butterfly moth fae people. Um, I thought the idea of having like flashing my wings and like having a face form out of all my patterns was just the sickest thing ever. And really, really hyped to use that in a role play setting. Uh, because I really like the specific lineage ability. My brain is like already on the min max skill situation, so I'm like, how can I use this with this specific career, whatever. But yeah, that's mine. Super hyped.
Excellent. So Armani has chosen a lineage that is one of the sub lineages for the Doppelin, which is our take on sort of doppelganger slash changelings. So very cool.
I'll go. I picked the furries. I picked Lupus.
mm,
Solid
Uh,
choice.
because I'm a sucker for furries. Um, I one of my characters in the text version of Daylight that Cam is running that I'm a part of is also a lupus. And so I was like, let's just stick with something a little more familiar, and I get to make dog jokes.
Yeah. So the Lupith were our take on shifters, which I will always champion Eberron because I love Eberron. That setting got me through so much. So I still do love it. So the Lupith are our take on shifters, and the Wolven in particular are the descendants of werewolves. So that is what Anna will be playing. All right. Who's next?
The one that I would like to play is Kylo because I love Highland cows, and that's it. I just wanna exist with my hair over my eyes and just kind of like this cool person that's kind of off in the distance all the time. So
Excellent. All right, so Murm has chosen one of the sublineages of the Caberdanians, our take on Minotaurs, because, and interestingly enough, the Kylo, I have a special place for the Kylo because growing up, my dad used to work for a guy who raised Highland cows. So if I got done with school early, I would get to go hang out with my dad and take care of the Highland cows. And I actually had a Highland cow friend growing up, and he and I would headbutt each other.
That
Um,
explains
Love
so
it.
much, Cam.
Yes,
much.
and
Precious.
there was one day we headbutt a little too hard, and I had a very big bruise on my face, but I was very happy.
I didn't see that in the list, and that's really cute that like the representation's there as someone who gets to see them quite a lot.
Yeah. All right. So we've got so far we've got Scary Moth, Wolf.
Oh, I
Fuzzy
actually am
Cow.
gonna be the cat one, not the
Oh, the
wolf
cat
this
one.
time.
Ah, the
I'm gonna be the
Panacea.
cat one.
The
Yeah.
snow leopards. Excellent. Snow leopard.
Interesting.
Lovely. All right. Who's next?
I decided to go with a magnetite gamid
Mm.
because I kind of like the whole kind of opposites attract, balance, contrast thing. And kind of the magnetism thing also looks like it could be kind of funky and fun.
Sweet. All right. So what we've got here is actually one of our original lineages. So the Gehemet are not from base fantasy, but they were one of our first lineage expansions. They are gemstone, mineral, rock folk, and they were a lot of fun to watch. I actually Julia Lafont, who designed them, is a geologist, so sort of just letting her go nuts and use her geology degree to design these, just using Bruno's amazing artwork. Um, Sweet. I'm excited. I was wondering if someone would pick a Gehemet, so that is exciting. Excellent. Alrighty.
Am I the
I'm
only one
happy-
who's left? No, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
After you, Adi, go ahead.
I'm still checking. I'm still
Okay.
reading through desperately.
No worries. I'm going to play a Golzam Mountain, or MNTI 1N.
Dope. All right, so Golzam are fun. So Kyle's chosen the Golzam Mountain. The Golzam are our take on Warforged, but I want to make the difference. So the overall mythology of the Golzam is that they are dug up. People find the Golzam just hidden in places when they're like building a foundation for a house or cleaning out a cave. No one knows where they came from or who made them or that kind of thing. They just kind of pop up. And the mountains are sort of these big, giant juggernaut of Golzam that just kind of like literally are like hills or like boulders. And people are like, oh, that's a robot.
It's pretty cool.
All right.
Got
Artie,
three
have
queries
you
and a wrap.
decided, or do you need us to give you some more time?
I'm so many options. The illusion of choice. Ah. I don't know. I think there are lots of options. I was thinking of the OG Doplin, because many guises. That sounds damn cool. But I was given the options. I was also thinking of perhaps a Knakanki. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Oh, the Kananki,
Q-
our take on
Kananki,
Knowles.
yeah. Yeah. I was thinking of that, perhaps. Or I can just go Palahorn, which just sounds really fun.
Up to you. I'll talk about lineages and then I'll circle back and see if you've decided.
Cool.
So the way lineages work in dayLITE is that they're, again, pretty straightforward. There's not a ton of text. There's not a ton of like baggage attached to everyone. It's literally just a couple sentences of lore. You get your looks, so like just a general description of what you might look like. The character, so like what kind of mannerisms might you expect from that lineage, and then a basic ability. Every lineage, so every base lineage, all the 36 base lineages have that one singular ability. Then, if you decide to move from just the base to a sublineage, you would instead get that sublineage's ability. All abilities are meant to be designed in a way where, regardless of what you pick, you are going to bring something to the table. Because one of my biggest beefs with the way that fantasy lineages are treated is that there are some that just like get absolute crap lineages and they're like, oh, they're only really specific with this one type of thing, versus what I tried to do with dayLITE was ensure that all lineages had an ability that was useful like 60+% of the time, because there are going to be opportunities where like you're not going to be 100% useful all the time because of X, Y, or Z. But that's sort of the idea behind lineages, plus the fact that if you wanted to design your own lineage, boom, you got a template right there for you to use and quickly throw something together using that as a base. So that's kind of the idea behind lineages. So I'll circle back. Artie, what you thinking?
I think perhaps I am going to go an entirely different direction than what I just kind of said. I am kind of leaning towards the clerk.
Our take on the Kenku.
Cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the clerk because I for shinies. I like my shinies.
I also considered that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
I played a bird in the last game, so 10 out of 10 would recommend be a bird.
All right. So now that we've got our lineages,
and
don't
gives
stress
me
about.
things to do with my neck. Like, so cool. Let's do.
Excellent. So, no need to worry about writing your abilities down right now. You guys can write them down later before we play. The next step is choosing your career. So, again, within base fantasy, there are basic careers that you can pick from. The idea being that each career, rather than being sort of like a catch all, represents different motifs or archetypes or that kind of thing, but also being that we have tons of different careers. When you decide on a setting or that kind of thing, different settings in dayLITE have unique lineages and unique careers to just those settings. But I want to try and make sure that the ones that you could have in base fantasy work for everyone. When you look at a lineage, or a career, and this is when you're going to see the next piece come in with stats. There's a basic description. You are going to get 3 new stat bonuses, an ability, some monies, and basic starting gear. So, what are the careers that folks have decided on?
I immediately wanted to do cultist. I wanted something that kind of worked with the whole like face on my wings. And the ability was like when you flash at someone for the first time, they have some visceral reaction. So I was like, what if I like all my body is the face of an unknown god, and I'm just like Cthulhu, or something like that. And I just thought that would be the funniest thing. Um, Also, I have no money, but I have a doom scroll. I got I got stories. I got lots of stories. Um, so kind of a really fun situation where it's like a cultist for a guy that may or may not exist, and I have stories and information, and they're very face branded on my being, but like I'm the only one who cares about it. There are a million. If there are no fans, then I am gone, sort of deal.
Alrighty, so Armani's going with a cultist.
I was thinking about Delver because for whatever reason, the magnetic ability of the magnetite Gehemed, like I could just picture him like reaching into a crevice and using like the magnetism to get like doodads,
That's pretty cool.
and that just seemed pretty cool. Yeah, uh, so I think I'm gonna go with Delver. And that
Dope, right?
My
Alright.
first
I
thought
went-
was assassin, but then I was like, no, I wanna focus a little bit more on the empath side of things and the brawn side of things. So I'm gonna go with envoy.
Mm.
I mean, you could be an empathic assassin and just be really passive aggressive.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
the problem that is definitely possible. The problem is that my min-maxing brain that comes from starting in D&D means that the numbers don't
Mhm,
correspond
yeah.
nicely.
Mhm.
So
I feel
I
that.
will be an envoy, and the thing is, envoys get a +2 in brawn anyway. So clearly, they're more needed for their physicality than they are for their intelligence. So maybe maybe I'm a bodyguard envoy. You know, there's possibilities out there for me.
Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, so we've got so far a cultist, an envoy, and a delver. What are other folks thinking?
I full committed to the bit of the silliness, but also like really going for like that RP chaos of I'm going to be a hedge scholar and I'm going to be the tree that talks to people when they're like, oh, I need advice, and they don't realize I'm alive for so long until I then come up. So I have all this knowledge of the entire like place that lives around me, and I was like, actually, I know all your secrets.
Everyone thinks it's just the tree, and then he just rises up out of the dirt enough so you see his head, and he goes, "No, I'm actually more than the tree."
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, so we've got a hedge scholar. All right, Merm and Artie, what are we thinking?
I'm I would love to be a scoundrel. I love the description of while you may be a thief, you are a cultured one.
Mm.
So I'm not stealing like from the poor, I'm stealing for the poor. You know what I'm saying? Love that.
Oh,
Robin Hood.
nice,
But
nice.
You
I
steal
Island
hard.
I need you.
don't worry, I got some extra copper coins I can give to you.
Getting thieved from by a giant fluffy cow. I love it.
Yeah, because I'm too cute and I got high empath, so I can just
Mo-
listen to your problems, and then also get you over to the head scholar that I know. He's over there. Just talk to him. He'll pop out. Probably.
All righty, and then Artie, what are we thinking?
I was going to go envoy, but the other option that I had was mystic.
Ooh.
Do go the caster route, perhaps.
Okay, cool. A Clerth mystic would be neat. A mystical bird.
Mhm. Then I was just like, as soon as you said that, I had that like a vision of the owl head doing like the complete 360 and coming like.
Well, you'll have to look into the Clerth subspecies and see if you want to pick one of those.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So there's
Where
some
do I
fun.
find the subspecies? Sorry, I did not
So
find
if
them.
you
So
look, there's a link that I had pinned that has the fantasy lineages folder, and then if you go
Oh,
into
it's that one.
then
Okay.
you'll find the Clerth.
Okay. I'll do that looking. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
All right. So the next step, numbers wise, is obviously, as some of you were mentioning, each lineage you get another 3 bonuses. This is sort of pertaining to each of your skills. So every career is going to get a different buff for their brawn, empath, and lore. Those are going to get added directly into your new stat. So the highest potential stat you could have is a 10. The lowest potential stat you should have is a 6. So we'll give you all a second to add those where they go, and they are directly linked. You can't move them around. They go into the stat that they say they go to.
My highest number is a 9.
oh, that's not showing
Did
properly. No.
did I do something
You should have 6, 8,
incorrectly?
and 10, I think.
Well, no,
You
not
can have a
every.
variation of numbers.
Oh, a
It's 10 is
variation between those.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, for
Yeah.
example, like I
Oh.
have a 10, but equally I have 2 7s now. So, they balance out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the highest end of the scale you can have is a 10. The lowest end of the scale you can have is a 6. So
Okay.
that's sort of the range of final numbers you can have.
Yeah, I think that means you can technically have an 8 in everything.
Yes,
Mhm.
there are some combos where you could have an 8 and everything.
I very purposefully wanted, like, on a min-max level, have a balance in the stats that are in it. And it broke my heart to not have a fully balanced sheet, but I was like, let's lean in the lore bit. I like the idea of like giving this creature, this entity, more and more power. So yeah,
Are
there's
you
just this
are
more.
you also 6, 8, 10, but reversed?
I'm
10, 10 in
7,
order?
7, 10.
7, 7, 10.
Yeah. So I used my
Fascinating.
what was the last thing we did? I used my career. I tried to balance between the career and the other thing to like lineage, yeah, to like have a balance between everything.
I like focusing on one area too much.
I Godspeed. I
like
but yeah, continue, Cam. Sorry.
No worries, all good. I just want to keep
Yep.
things on roll,
Mhm.
and then give you all time to talk after when I drop the next tidbit before we wrap up. So the next step is getting your modifiers. Modifiers are very basic. It's just on a range, kind of like how one would have in TTRPGs. These are going to be a number you will add to a roll. So they'll just go in the little box, little circle. I don't have the sheet pulled up in front of me right now because if I do, none of this would be working. Based on the number you have in your stat, you're going to have a different modifier. So if you have hold on, I can pull it up on my phone, and that way I'll make sure I'm actually doing it right, because my phone won't kill everything. Okay. You'd think, being the moron who designed the system, I would remember this piece, but I never do.
Your mind's
Okay.
so vast.
I have them
hate
up if you want, Cam.
Okay. 4 years of being an educator in middle school. Kill your brain, kids. Okay, here we go. So if you have a 6 to a 5 in a stat, your modifier is +0. Oh, and then Kyle posted it there. So never mind.
Man. Okay, Kyle.
Kyle, the MVP. So yeah. So if you
I've
have
got you covered. Don't worry. Continue.
if you got a 6 to a 5, it's a +0. If you have a 9 to a 7, it's a +1. And if you have a 12 to a 10, it's a +2. So again, that won't get added into the stat. That's just going to be on the side in a small little box. And then once you get your modifiers, we'll do our last bit of stats.
Got my modifiers.
I'm ahead of the curve. I've been reading ahead.
So I'll give folks a second.
Are you that enthusiastic child who always turned in their homework, Anna?
No, actually. Okay, see, so homework was a big sticking point for me because I was a big believer in the separation between school and home. So while I was in
Oh,
class,
let
I
go.
was incredibly enthusiastic, always wanted to answer the questions, putting my all into classwork. Like I got into advanced classes in elementary school because of that. But I would consistently have a homework problem because I would just go home and not do my homework. So if I did not do my homework at school, I just did not do it at home.
That is
Big
good.
same.
I tested into a like elite advanced high school, and my grades went from straight A's to C's. Because turns out if you don't do your homework at an advanced high school, they take that quite poorly.
All right. So, what are folks' final scores for their core 3 stats and their modifiers?
I am
I have-
Oh, go ahead.
No,
No,
go.
please go.
Yeah, I'm another 10-7-7 guy. I got a 10 in lore and a 7 in the other two, so I have a +2 lore bonus, and then +1 for my others.
Go twin.
Same.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There's 3 of us. 10, 7, 7.
I feel like I'm somehow the only person who's ended up with 10-8-6, and I don't know how.
It makes sense, like math wise.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously 10-8-6, or rather, if we're going left to right, 6-8-10 would be a 0, a 1, and a 2.
I've gone for a 6 in brawn, 9 in lore, and 9 in empath. So 0 and 2 plus 1s.
And I'm exactly the same as Adi. For the beams, because 69. And then another 9.
Nice. This works really well actually for the little concept in my head because to do with the gear, I actually have a request of the other players instead of me doing it because of the little chaos that we're doing of, hey, this is the tree that you all come tell the secrets to. I get 6 books to choose from of lore. I want you all to tell me a book that I'm now going to have because it's all your little knowledge or secrets.
All right, so we'll hold on to that note, and we'll have you guys do that via text to start building the chaos for this little group. All right, the last 2 stats that we have are your grit and your heart. So these are the last 2 stats. So grit pretty much is like an armor class. If folks roll to hit you, they got to beat your grit score. If they beat your grit score, they do damage. The max amount of damage that can be dealt to you by most things is 3. Most amount of damage you can be dealt with is 3. Heart is how much life you got. Pretty straightforward. None of these numbers are going to be super high. Again, I did design this for younger kids to play, so that addition is not that hard. And also, I feel like as adults, we also don't like mathing a ton sometimes. So,
Fuck Matt.
all right. So your grit and heart all start at a base of 6. So there's going to be a little bit more addition, but they all start at a base of 6. So I'll let folks jot that down real quick. So first, your grit score is 6 plus your brawn and lore modifiers. So you're going to add whatever modifier you have for your brawn and whatever modifier you have for your lore to that 6, and you'll have, for right now, your final base grit score. Because some of you may have armor in your gear that might increase it, but this is just your base grit score. Is 6 plus your brawn and lore modifier.
And you want us to hold off on adding our armor.
Yeah, don't
People
add
have
your
armor?
gear.
Yeah.
Don't add any of your gear onto it quite yet. I just want to see where folks are at base wise, and then we can see, if folks do have armor, what it would turn into. Your heart score is 6 plus your brawn and empath modifiers. So you're going to go ahead and add those in. All right. So, what are folks' grit and heart looking like?
I'm an
Potent.
8.
Oh,
An 8 in both?
Me? A 9 in grit and a 8 in heart. I think the grit for 9 was from the lore.
Mhm.
I want to
Yeah,
live.
same.
I need to live.
Yeah. I only have 7 grit, so I get hit a lot more, but I have 9 heart, so I can take a good number of hits.
I'm a 7/7.
Oh,
Balance, as all things should be.
I am a 9 grit, 8 heart as well.
This will be helpful because we have stat twins, And if anything makes no sense, it's like, hey, are you okay after that hit? No, I'm not okay. Okay, cool. I shouldn't be okay either. Nice.
So
Like
realistically,
imagine having like sympathetic injuries where you're so closely friends with someone, you're just like, oh, is that a stab wound? Oh, my chest hurts. Oh my god, wait, I'm bleeding.
it's great that Audie and I are RP whores and we're twins.
All right. So I'm gonna just quickly walk you guys through because this is important, what death and healing looks like in daylight, because this is imperative to, how things work. This is one of my favorite things I did. Just gonna toot my own horn here when I made this. So death and daylight. Obviously, given how you guys see how low stats are, death is a very potentially real thing that can happen. The way it works is if you reach 0 heart points and a companion cannot assist you to bring you back to 1, you begin to fade away, and then you journey to meet the ferryman. The ferryman is essentially the incarnation of death. You are standing before the ferryman before your trip to the land of slumber, final death. When you meet the ferryman, you have 2 options where you may challenge death. The first is where you just sit down and have a really honest conversation with death about why you deserve to live or don't. So otherwise, you get to have a conversation with your therapist in a much more dark setting. The other is you get to fight death. Death turns into a shadow clone of you, and you have 3 hits to decrease the shadow version of you to 0. If you win and are deemed worthy on either of these counts, so if you defeat the shadow copy of yourself, if you fight death and win, or if you talk with death and the ferryman deems that you are worthy, you are able to return. You come back to the world. However, you are marked. Where you were injured, the blow that caused you to die, there is a strange tattoo grows over that place where you died, and there's sort of little runes that manifest around it, and that is permanently stained with that tattoo of where you died. If you attain 5 marks, if you come back from death 5 times, or 4 times rather, that 5th time, and you die, or you come back 5 times and you die after 5 times, you go with death, regardless. It's like you have run out of lives. You have pushed the envelope too far. Simple ways you get healing back is you sleep, eat. People have abilities, other things like that. So yeah, that's kind of the basics. Did anyone have any questions about that particular element?
Sounds
Like
cool.
a death
Though.
can, even death is like, bruh, come on. Like,
Absolutely.
enough's enough, all right?
I feel like we should
I've
be
given you
paying Death
5
for his
chances,
therapy.
man. I'm giving you
Yeah.
5 chances. So
Where did Death get his license from? Just want to make sure that he's okay to practice in my state.
When was the last time he updated his boat license?
Yeah.
Ferryman? Hello?
he took an online training.
Oh,
No, shucks.
So that's how that aspect of it. Some of you may notice that you might have an ability that causes you to decrease your own heart points in exchange for an ability or to heal others. That is a possibility that happens around. So that's a big thing. Does anyone, before we kind of wrap things up here for now, does anyone have any outstanding questions that weren't answered?
This is not about character creation, so if anyone has a more relevant question.
I
Yes.
do have one, which is like, is there a description of what the careers do? Is there a like is similar to D&D? Do you have a description, a more in-depth description of the career, or is that all we need to know?
That's all you need to know. And it's very much meant to be open to interpretation. So, like, if you see, so, like, for example, the first one that pops up in my head is warrior. We have the warrior career. That description there is just like to give you an idea. You can choose to interpret warrior however you want. If you're like, I'm going to go with more the lane of a martial artist or a pole arms master or like a brawler or something like that, you can do that. Or, you know, if we're thinking about hedge scholar, you know, using Kyle as an example, hedge scholar, bazillion different ways you could interpret it. Like if you're like, I'm going to be like the weird alchemist who lives in the woods and blah 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 with mushrooms, or like if I'm going to be the cartographer who like does maps and shit. More open-minded to just sort of let people use their own idea of what that is.
That kind of ties into my question about gear. So
Sure.
all of it says like is light blade, light bludgeoning, medium range, that sort of thing. So are we just replacing those kind of descriptor words with what we think that we would be carrying?
Yeah, pretty much. Like if you so like if like my brain, a heavy bludgeon would be like a warhammer, like a big two-handed warhammer, or a light blade might be like a kunai, or a light range might be a short bow. Again, it's up to the flavor of what you want it to be, and I just wanted to leave that open to each person rather than being like, you get a scimitar. Well, what if my character like doesn't vibe with a like what if it doesn't fit with my aesthetic, or what if it doesn't fit with the lore? So like it's open to you to decide what you want it to be.
Sweet. And then that also goes for mounts because I have a mount.
I also have a mount. That was actually going to be my question.
Yeah,
Because
you
there
guys
are.
rad whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, well, I was going to ask about the cultural aspect of that because, like, there are like horse people, like the equini, and
Yes.
so like I'm assuming that like horses, the animal are completely distinct from the horse people, the equini,
Right.
and like there's no like me riding a horse is not insulting if I rode up to like an equine person, that they wouldn't be insulted about me riding the horse.
No, they would
Okay.
not be. So yeah, you whatever like I'm very much a fan of funky mounts and weird mounts and non-traditional animals being mounts. So go wild, have a good time with it. This also will tie into when I announce what setting we're playing in, which you guys will find out in a moment. So
I have a question. Well, not a question. I have a request more, I guess you could put it, based on the setting that we do not know about yet, and that is to
yes,
do with my lineage's ability.
yes,
Which, if you know it off the top of hand, then it's the older question like I need to have with you. Other than if not, I can read it up to you, and then you can understand the question.
sure. Hit me up, because I don't have it pulled up in front
Cool.
of me.
So it's called Heart of the Mountain. You can interact with members of the lineage that live upon you by forming parts of yourself into stone constructs. I assume that's what I'm playing rather than the actual mountain, which would make sense.
Yeah. So you
may
are
only
playing as an extension of yourself.
correct. You may have only one active at any given time. These constructs choose the stats, which I've already set up. That's fine. They cannot leave the mountain range, and they crumble to dust if they reach to 0 hearts. I'm assuming we're playing on me then. I just need the lore aspect of that, if that makes sense.
We're gonna be a little fuzzy with that one, probably. We probably won't get like super intense with that one. So
Your
That's what I
mountain
should
range is nearby. It's fine.
yeah,
Mhm.
like you can't go like super far beyond the mountain. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. I just want to check in case of like, hey, if you needed me to change the idea, I'll come up with another idea. Absolutely fine. It was like,
Nah,
I
you're good.
can't leave my own home. Ah, cool.
No, you're fine. You can like go several days journey away from the mountains. Is anything past that, then you're like, oh wait, I'm dying.
Okay.
All right. So, any other questions before I reveal the setting, and then we wrap up for tonight?
All good.
All set.
Drum roll, please.
Alrighty. The setting we will be playing in, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat so folks can go and read it, is Aesir.
Ooh.
Aesir is a post-apocalyptic troll punk Weird West world. In this world, trolls found ways to use technology and combine it with druidry to become nearly godlike creatures and find ways to ascend through technology and magic to godhood. However, humans found ways, or mortals, I should say, found ways to also ascend and drive the giants back into the great cloud forest to the north and south of the Isthmus. For thousands of years, these gods have sort of come and go. They've become sort of figureheads of the new counties that cover the landscape and grow over ancient troll ruins. Stuff like ancient troll technology is fought over when it is dug up, but everyone's trying to make their own ends meet in this world. So, I will let you all peruse it and read it and explore it a little bit. And I will also drop the map as well. But yeah, that's going to be the world we're going to play in. You guys can sort of think about stuff. I'll post a little bit of like what I'm looking for, like lore wise from each person. You don't have to have a ton. We're obviously we're doing like a 1, maybe 2 shot. So it's not going to be super in depth, but this is just to sort of help folks get an idea and get the feel and get the vibes. So
Oh, wait. So there are other careers in this as well.
yes, and if one of you guys, and if some of you wanted to switch up careers to something in Aesir, just ping and we can do that. That's totally fine.
Fucking, I'm so excited.
So my career wants me to, it wants me to pick like a nobility in the world to like represent as a faction. Is there, obviously I don't know what story you've planned. Is there a faction I should not be representing in case they're like the antagonists or something? Like,
We'll talk.
Are we the baddies?
We'll talk more about those details probably tomorrow when I have a
Okay.
chance to sleep and
Yes, yeah, that's
Formulate.
entirely fair. Sorry, just wanted to.
formulate a brain after being outside in 90-degree weather all day. So, but if anyone has any questions, obviously, please reach out.
I mean, would anyone mind if I became a spell slinger?
No, why would we mind?
Live your life.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
But then I would have to change, like, because in the description it's guts, bonds, and trulk. So how does that? What is that?
They're just renamed versions. They're the same stats as in base. They're just like flavored different. So
Gotcha.
So what is what?
so
They're in order, I think. So
is it?
lore,
Yep.
lore, brawn, empath.
All right. So we got everything set. The stage is set. I'll drop a description of what the basic idea of one shot will be, and then we can start to formulate ideas. But I think, and if Irvi is there, I think we're all set for tonight.
Awesome sauce.
Oh my gosh. This is a sassy caption system.
I'm gonna say it again. Homophobic.
I went with the Weird Al line instead of
Even
like,
pick it
could I
up.
just want us to sing different songs?